Now I want to talk about the example of IDDS, because IDDS is a more complicated product than the manure spreader in some ways, and it shows a theory of change of a process. So in this case, I've actually added a middle layer, because as we talked about in the second video, it really helps to measure the takeaways and learnings when we're talking about a process, in addition to just the immediate reach and then what happens later. So in this case, the input is IDDS. It is the whole participatory design experience and everything that comes with it. The output is the participants have been exposed to co-creation and a design process. The takeaway is that they learn new skills and mindsets for co-creation. They make new connections with each other. The outcome, the actions that they take later, are that they apply co-creation, perhaps they teach co-creation to others. They create and iterate on solutions. They might start new careers or businesses related to this process, and they might collaborate with new actors. All of these are a variety of outcomes that we might see from IDDS and that we have seen, as you saw in the data. And then, as we discussed before, the impacts, the societal level or perhaps industry level changes that we see are better and more accessible solutions, inclusive and vibrant innovation ecosystems, and larger paradigm shifts in the industry of development, design, education, and business. Now, all these things can be measured as well. We can count the number of summits we've held. That's our input metric. We can count the number of participants we've engaged or the kinds of participants we've engaged. That's an output metric. But we can also go further than that. We can measure their takeaways and their learnings. What is the change in their knowledge, skills, and mindsets and relationships? We can capture that through surveys and interviews and other mechanisms. What are the outcomes? What are the actions they take after the summit? We can measure the percent of participants that took a specific action of interest within a given time period. And we can also track the impacts that these participants are effecting in their own communities and industries. We can track the number of new solutions on the market and the number of users of those solutions. We can track the number of programs that are supporting local innovators in the communities where we've worked or where our alumni work. And we can also track the number of programs adopting participatory design and co-creation as an inherent way or part of their practice. And so this is a way we're able to first set the concept in the theory of change, and then convert it into a metric, something quantifiable, something measurable. And so just looking back at this slide from the second video, you can see that the goals and takeaways that we were measuring in the pre and mid and post survey correspond quite directly with this middle takeaway column. The 12-month survey, the actions that we were measuring, correspond with this outcomes column. And then a lot of that ongoing tracking and monitoring for systemic changes that we were doing corresponds quite nicely with the impact column. So our theory of change, as you can see, directly informs our measurement strategy. You can't have a measurement strategy without first setting out a theory of change.